Manchester United 2, FCSB 0. Manchester United qualify automatically for the last 16 of the Europa League. And what was a very good performance last night, are Manchester United learning the Ruben Amorim system? Well, on the basis of last night, I think there's a lot of positives to take. We've got 5 talking points, guys. Let's jump right into them. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Do hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel, on the road to 13,000 subscribers. I'm very, very close to it, so I appreciate it. We're going to start with number 1, qualification. Okay, now obviously qualification to the last 16 was what was most important last night, to get the job done. And as we can see by the league table here, Manchester United finished the group stage in 3rd. And the only unbeaten team in the Europa League group stage, which is very, very good. It's been a successful group campaign, you would have to say. Now, there were, some disappointing aspects to it throughout the 8 games. But when you look at it, 3 draws, 5 wins, you can't really argue with that. And it's been qualification without too much of a hiccup, it has to be said. And I think that was was most important, is to get to the last 16 automatically. The last thing we want now under Ruben Amorim is to have to go into a last 32 round where you've got 2 extra games. We've said so many times this season that getting time on the training pitch is what's most important for Ruben Amorim and this Manchester United squad, so he can implement his ideas as quickly as possible, so he can improve players, maybe toy a little bit with who plays where, and we'll get into some of that in a few minutes. So last night was a professional job. The job was done, and it was done professionally. I thought it was a kind of a slow build-up, to be quite honest with you, and I think that's a tactic out of Ruben Amorim over the last couple of games. He spoke in depth about not controlling games a few weeks ago, and allowing the opposition to maybe score some early goals and get an early lead on us. And I think we've seen against Fulham, and again last night in the first half, very slow, very, methodical, if that's even a word. Is that a word? I think it is. Anyway, but yeah, dictating the game, dictating the tempo, and I think we saw that last night. And maybe it's down to the fact that we're not good enough to do it at a high tempo straight away, that Ruben Amorim has now said, right, well, let's slow the game down. And I thought we silenced the crowd quite well last night early on and got a foothold in the game. So qualification to the last 16, happy days. Let's get on to the training ground. Number 2, Højlund struggles. Look, again, we spoke about Højlund, and I don't want to focus on him all of the time, but we've got to speak about him. We've just got to speak about him. Another game without a goal last night. Again, I want to mention the positives with him. He always is working hard. He always gives his all for Manchester United. He's just not doing the right things, in my opinion. Again, he's coming out, he's looking for the ball short. He's not getting him off the shoulder. The couple of times that he got in off the last defender's shoulder last night, there was chances created. Now, they were half chances, and we do have to realise that there's not a massive amount of supply coming his way. However, I think we did see an improvement in getting the ball into the box from wide areas last night. And then we obviously seen Lisandro Martinez in the first and second half stepping up into that pocket on the inside left channel and looking to get balls in behind. And Rasmus Højlund just wasn't making the runs off enough. His duels are really, really poor, guys. I think he only won 2 of 14 duels in yesterday's game, which is just not good enough. It really isn't. It's not his game. It's quite clear that it's not his game. And we know he's a young player and he's learning the game, but he needs to do the fundamentals better. He needs to play the game to his strengths, and that's playing off the shoulder of a defender, running into the channels and getting in behind, using his pace. Because I think if he does that, he will get more chances. And naturally, when you get more chances, you start to finish more of them chances. He's not getting enough at the moment because he's dropping short for the ball. And then when the 1 or maybe 2 chances fall to him in a game, he's snatching at them because he's, muscle memory is a big thing here. So the struggle continues for Rasmus Højlund. But again, the effort is there. And look, as we can see from this picture, even though we've scored, he looks downtrodden because, from a personal standpoint, he needs goals, and that's what strikers live off of. We need to get this situation, I suppose, sorted. And again, there's a few days left for the transfer window. Do we go for a striker? Time is running out. Number 3, MAINOO magic. I've been speaking over the last couple of weeks about wanting to see MAINOO in a more advanced role in that number 10. And we seen it last night, and Ruben Amram has heaped praise upon MAINOO after it. But he done it in the Ruben Amram way of, keeping the players' feet on the ground. He said he played really well tonight, but then he goes on to say we've seen him struggle in the last few weeks defensively playing in the number 6. So I'm liking that kind of talk from Ruben Amram. Here's a compliment, but don't get carried away with yourself. Here's a little, thing you need to improve on. MAINOO was brilliant last night and my man of the match. I've said before that I don't think MAINOO is the type of player to go and receive the ball off of a back four, and spray a 60-70 yard pass left and right, like you would have seen maybe Paul Scholes do back in the day. MAINOO's game is, intricate. It's in the little half spaces, it's the tight areas, it's the 5-10 yard passes that he's really good at. And he got a goal and an assist last night, and it was well deserved. And I think we've seen a more assured performance by MAINOO, and I think when we take away the defensive responsibilities maybe of MAINOO in the number 6, I think you can see him flourish an awful lot more. And look, I mentioned before as well that he hasn't got an abundance of pace, and he can't cover the ground as quickly as an Ugarte, a Toby Collier, even a Bruno Fernandes. So I think taking that defensive responsibility away from him a little bit more by playing him in advanced positions, I think we see a better player, and we know how good he can be creatively on the edge of the box, putting passes through. So it was a really good performance. I want to see more of MAINOO playing the number 10, and hopefully we see it in the coming weeks. Number 4, momentum. Now, this is a word we've been using quite a lot over the last few weeks, and, on the back of the Liverpool and Arsenal performances, we said we need to go in now and start performing against the lesser teams and putting a run of performances together, and hopefully then the results will come with it. Well, it's 3 wins in a row for the first time this season by Manchester United, so you can say there's a little bit of momentum being built. What we've also seen is we've seen 2 clean sheets in a row, and we didn't keep a clean sheet for 14 games prior to that as well. And I do want to focus a little bit on that. Defensively, I think we are looking much better. And I do want to mention the man on the left there first, Matthijs de Ligt. He's gone under the radar an awful lot when it comes to praise, and I've been wanting to kind of heap praise on him an awful lot this season. I think he's been fantastic for us. He really has. And again, last night I thought he was very good. Wins his headers, plays out from the back quite comfortably. His positional sense is very good, and for a lot of people saying that, he's not the quickest, he is well able to cover ground. We've seen Mazraoui go into the back 3, the right-hand side of the back 3 last night, and I thought looked very, very good. And I think Ruben Amram wants to see even his 3 centre-backs, especially the 2 wide centre-backs, he wants to see them push up and keep the opposition at bay, and I think we've done that an awful lot. We've seen at times last night where Mazraoui was pushed up right to the edge nearly of the opposition's 18-yard box, where he was getting into them half spaces in the inside right channel, and again that allows then obviously your wing backs to be more advanced, it allows your midfield to be more advanced, and it puts pressure on the opposition in their final third, and I thought it was a very assured performance. But again, momentum is key. We need to keep these performances coming, and we're going into a run of fixtures now where there is an opportunity to keep that run going and to pick up some well-needed points on top of that. And number 5, are they learning? Now, we know that Ruben Amram, of course, has come in and completely changed the tactics, the setup, the formation, and the personnel and where they play over the last couple of months. We know it's going to take time, but is this team actually learning what Ruben Amram is trying to teach them? And I think on the basis of last night, it looked an awful lot more positive than we could have said throughout previous games. I thought last night we looked well balanced. MAINOO playing in the 10. We had a left footer in Malacia play at left wing back, even though he didn't have the greatest game. And I mentioned it about Malacia last night. I thought he was, more than anything else, he was just a decoy in the first half on that left-hand side. Stay high and wide, create the space, pin back their fullbacks, and it allows Garnacho to drop into that pocket, or Lisandro Martinez to step into midfield as well. So I think he did play a part there. He does have an awful lot to improve on, and look, reports are suggesting today that he can leave between now and the end of the January transfer window, because obviously Dorgu is coming in. But other than that, I thought Eriksen played really well in the number 10 role. I think again with Eriksen, when you take the defensive responsibilities away from his game, I think we see, you know, a much improved performance. And in the second half last night, he did drop back into the 10, but United were pressing very high, and it allowed him to nearly play that quarterback role. You know, when United were in the box, every time it came out, it was falling to Eriksen. He was going left and right, you know, trying to pick out passes. You know, when we see the likes of Toby Collier in there in the 6 as well, it gives you that athleticism. So I think we are starting to see... Now, look, lads, let me just be clear here. We've got a hell of a long way to go, but we're starting to see, you know, in maybe small moments, maybe games here and there, that they're starting to understand what Ruben Amorim wants from them. And I think the signs are encouraging. Now, if you can improve the team over the next few transfer windows with players who can naturally just be dropped into this formation and this setup, then, you know, you could see a drastic improvement over a short period of time. So let's hope that happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys, about our talking points. Let me know any more you've got in the comment section below. Smash a like on the video, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.